Hi, I'm Mark Hummel. I hope you're enjoying the Harmonica Party and the other content that we post on our channel. Now you can become part of the show for the price of a cheap cup of coffee. For $3 a month, you can help bring the blues and the stories to you. Check out our Patreon page and join us for exclusive content, early releases of episodes, and some rewards specifically for our Patreon friends. Thanks for helping us keep the blues alive. So here we go, back to part 2 of our interview with Kid Andersen and June Core about Greaseland Studios in San Jose. And I want to just kind of get into the thing of, because not only are you an amazing musician,
that's true,
in all these different instruments that you can play, primarily the guitar, but B3 organ, stand-up bass, electric bass.
Let's do the Rick thing.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay.
Don't interrupt the man.
Sorry.
Drums, sitar,
Vibraphone.
musical saw,
And I can also provide harmonicas.
and you can provide harmonicas. Matter of fact,
more
one time
importantly-
you provided me with harmonicas.
One time.
Oh, let's hear this.
One time.
This is a good story.
I don't know if you remember the whole thing, but it was great. The thing that I remember the most. One time, you were coming here.
I was going to Santa Cruz.
You were going
I
to
think.
Santa Cruz to play a duo gig or
Right,
something.
to play a duo gig.
And you were coming by here to borrow an amp or something.
Right.
When you got here, he goes, what do you know? I forgot my harmonicas. I said, I'm on my way to a gig. He goes, Mark goes, do you have any harmonicas? And I have, I usually will have a number of what I call residual harmonicas.
Yes, residual harmonicas that are
people
blown out.
Yeah, that people have left or abandoned
right.
or sometimes cars just stop here and they just throw them.
And I think you came up with like 3 that were you had a Kike harmonica.
I had one that Kike was trying to put together that was literally in pieces.
In pieces. Put that together.
And I had the one I remember the most was
the one in the mailbox.
The one in the mailbox. There was no exaggeration. 8 years prior.
8 years.
8 years prior, Mark Hummel had been here producing the band Awek from France.
Right.
And their harmonica player, he had it was a
Golden Melody.
It was an A flat harp.
Right.
It was a weird key. It was an A flat harp that he thought that had gone bad, or for whatever reason, he had left it here. And I don't know why, but that day, 8 years ago, after this guy left, I saw this harmonica, and I was like, where did I put this? I put it in the mailbox, just on a whim. It laid in the mailbox for 8 years.
Wow. So the mailman wasn't
For-
falling for that.
It had like
years.
spider webs on it.
Yeah,
it
I've
had
killed
spider
all
webs.
kinds of bugs,
Yeah.
bug spray and
full
stuff.
of bugs.
Because they like to live right over the mailbox in the lamp.
Right.
I mean, and Mark was saying, he was looking for harmonicas, and I go, I think there's one in the mailbox. And I'm trying to say, but let's clean it first. He just, before I can even finish the sentence, he opened the mailbox, and he's going, wah, 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 wah. And it's just like spider egg and cobweb.
I think I took a sponge.
Big leaves. They go, why is this note stuck? And there's a leaf going.
I think I took a sponge and just kind of like,
Yeah, but you played it first.
I did.
It's a good thing you didn't
Sounds
draw
like me.
on it.
So where were we? We were talking about musical instruments that Kid Andersen plays. But what I wanted to speak about is your engineering skills.
Oh,
Because
okay.
in my book, I've been recording now since 19...
I had your book.
I know you had my book.
Actually, we have a copy available for
right,
a
never
got a
preview right in
copy.
the bathroom.
And I probably mentioned Greaseland Studios in it.
You may have. I never actually
I know
read it.
I'm
I
sure
never
I-
got a copy, so I
Oh
wouldn't
man,
know.
you never read it. Shame
No, I
on
didn't.
you. It's a great bathroom read, as Nick
Well,
Ravenitis
that's
says. But anyway, what I wanted to say is I've been recording since 1981. No, since 1979. And out of all the engineers I've worked with, I must say that you are one of the most spot-on engineers I've ever worked with. In terms of just your consistency and your speed, getting things done, your edits, and all the different things that have to be done by an engineer. You're a very amazing engineer.
Well, thank you. I think, well, I started doing it not because I wanted to be an engineer, but I started doing it because of, like you guys have both experienced probably a lot of frustration in the studio with, engineers who don't, because traditionally, a person who wants to be a sound engineer, a recording engineer, is not the same person who falls in love with old school Chicago blues and stuff
Right.
like that. Usually that's why they always play Steely Dan at sound checks and stuff. Which I like that too. But I came to it from blues, from playing music as a musician, to engineering and largely just out of frustration with other engineers.
Right.
For one thing, they didn't have the same concept of what was a good sound that I did.
Right.
'Cause a lot of stuff we like is recorded in a way that they would consider not technically correct now.
That they're very rigid, I think.
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
times.
Like a lot of our favorite sounds are, they're distorted, they're mangled.
Right.
There's stuff that's not even, that's just ambient in the room. There's not even a
Right.
microphone.
Ambient recording, yeah.
Ambient recording.
Ambient. You need ambient, yes.
You're very tired of it after
Yes.
a while. But so that's I came to it from that perspective, basically because nobody was doing what I want, how I want them to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
And they were all like, "Oh, this has to be isolated. It has to be like
This
this.
has to be baffled off.
Yeah,
right.
and a lot of the stuff that we really love came from an era where people were just, figuring out recording, and a lot of those, experiments and limitations they had actually made for better recordings with more atmosphere, more
Right.
More mystery
Yeah.
and more excitement and all this stuff. So that's I started doing it because of that, and other engineers that I would work with, they just weren't into what I was into.
Right.
And that's hard, it's
Right.
hard. It's it'd be like if you're gonna tell a story to somebody's writing down your story and they aren't interested, it's not gonna be as fun.
Right.
And also, at one point I realized, wait a minute, the slower this, if somebody charges by the hour, the slower this guy works, the more money he makes.
Right. Right.
The more communication
Right.
hurdles we have, and the longer it takes for him to get what I mean by the five, or the turnaround,
Right.
the more profitable it is for him.
Yeah.
So that was like, that's that's not right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just started doing it myself, and then as with many things, once I started doing it, I got really into it, and if I'm into it, then I can get good at it, and it just kind of snowballed like that. I think initially, I wanted to do my own stuff, but I got pretty good at it, so I started working, helping other musicians that I loved and cared about, and or that would pay me, and helping them do their stuff.
Right.
And I got to say, I've found often found as much or more fulfillment in doing that as doing my own shit.
Right.
And I mean, right now, I won't say not to brag, because obviously it is, but there's a bunch of records I've done that are up for a Blues Music Award nomination.
And Grammy.
And a Grammy.
Right.
And a Grammy with
Right.
Elvin and Charlie.
Right.
And
Which
a
is a
Norwegian
great-
Grammy with my buddy
Which is a
Vidar.
great,
Oh,
which
well,
is a
that's
great,
right. I just saw
great
that the
album.
other day.
Yeah.
Right. I haven't lost
Yeah.
any of these awards right at this moment. Now, in a couple of months, there might be,
different story.
I always say
Possibly.
this is the best time between you get nominated and before you lose.
Right.
This is the time to cheer.
Or when you win.
Good point. Yeah, good
So,
point.
but I consider those my nominations,
Yeah.
because I feel.
Well, you have.
You feel you.
And I gave you an award.
That's right.
Yes.
Literally.
Literally.
My
Right out
first
of my
Grammy
head.
my first Grammy nomination
Was that
was a Mark Hummel.
That's
Little
true.
Walter?
The
Remember
Little Walter one,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
You were on
nice,
that
nice.
too.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you got, that was great, man.
But when we got the award, they didn't give him one.
Right. It was.
But I gave you my award because I just felt like you put a lot into it.
Well, that's not exactly how it happened.
Okay.
I do take it.
I liked the way it sounded that way.
Oh,
But if
yeah,
you want
well,
to
yeah.
change it to reality,
All
all right.
right. Well, here's what I remember. Well, the thing is, the award was for the Little Walter tribute. It was for multiple artists. It was
Right.
like at least 4 or
Right.
5 names.
Yes,
So
5 names.
Yeah, so you had and half of the guys at least
Didn't
didn't
even
even
show.
show up for the awards. So you're walking around with like 15 awards.
No, I only got the 2.
And you did bring me up on stage, which I was
I did
not,
bring you up.
not expecting.
I did bring
and
you
that
up
was,
on
that was
stage.
very
Nice.
nice. And
Right,
in
nice.
your euphoria of winning all these awards, you let me keep one.
I did.
Which he later tried to trade.
What was I trying to trade for?
I said, "Did you get the traditional album or did you get the album of the year? Because I'm missing one, and I want to see if you want. I don't know. You want to trade? I wouldn't have no part of it, but I mean, you can have it now if you want.
This was
that's
the
okay.
I
VMAs.
got other ones now,
You
but
do.
at the
You
at
have
the,
a lot of them.
at
How
the
many
time
you
it was
got?
my first one.
How many do you got?
Well, I got a couple for Band of the Year, and I got what they would call a Keeping the Blues Alive award too.
Ah, okay.
Which is
Well, good. Well, I want to say, in terms of keeping the blues alive, I want to say that really Greaseland, in my mind, 2 people have really contributed heavily to the San Jose scene, and that's you and Aki Kumar.
Yeah.
And that, between Aki doing the blues jams at the Poorhouse and you doing this studio, that you guys have really resurrected the San Jose blues scene.
Yeah,
In
a very good way.
In
too,
a
as a
great
matter of
way,
fact.
yeah. I mean, you guys have really raised the whole level. In the same way that Santa Cruz was kind of the scene for a while, you guys have kind of brought it to San Jose.
All this, that's great. That's nice of you to say. If you take June Core out, there's not much left.
That's true. Well, June, you got June Core here. You got Kedar Roy. You got yourself. You got Aki. And here's the other thing I wanted to get into before we finish is the whole thing of what happened when the pandemic hit. You were instrumental at kind of keeping things open in terms of music by doing live broadcasts out of the studio.
Yeah.
You kept musicians working, you kept musicians making money.
I got to be honest with you. I kind of loved it. Pandemic, that was my time.
Thrive. He's probably the only person who thrives.
Thriving, him and the guys that make the masks.
Write a book. How to thrive in
And
the
Big
pandemic.
Pharma. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
How to
that
thrive
was the
during
3
a
people who
pandemic.
profited.
That's right. Yeah. Kid, the mask makers, and Big
The
Pharma.
Yeah.
I mean, when the thing started, we had Elvin Bishop and Charlie Musselwhite here.
Right.
We had the Sons of the Soul Revivers. We had, who else did we have?
Didn't Charlie re-record here with Charlie?
Yeah. Charlie and his Charlie Musselwhite band
Right.
recorded here.
That's right.
I forget who else. I think it was Sonny Green or Marcel Smith. Somebody. It was an incredible week of incredible music and musicians, and then boom. I think it was
Dead stuff.
the last thing I remember before it was like all over was us sitting here after the Musselwhite sessions, and Matt Stubbs was looking on his phone trying to find a flight back home to Boston. He was tripping because they kept getting canceled, and that was like literally the last day of the before time.
Yeah.
And then and then the next day it's like everything's shut down, and I started going live on just doing like a sort of like a radio show.
Right.
I figured out I've done like Facebook Live before and stuff like that, just on my phone, like everybody is. And I started seeing immediately everybody's doing, everybody's live in their, from their bathroom or broom closet with their going, hey, man, the gigs are canceled, and the sound sucked, and it was very boring to watch, and so I started kind of going, well, there's got to be I'm not saying I invented this, because obviously,
but you took it up a few notches.
They have had live TV and shit before, but not here I hadn't. I realized, okay, I found first of all, the first thing that was big is that I found a way to get the sound of my studio, like my whole Pro Tools rig and all my mics, get that sound into to the computer from which I streamed, which was a different computer, and then the next thing I did, and I would do like little radio shows where I would play music and talk, and I made a little tip thing that literally was made out. I took a label maker and a little sign that I taped up right by the camera, so you can see my PayPal info on it.
That's great. That's great.
And I just started, looking into, okay, what can we do to make it better? If I had a couple of cameras I could switch between, that would really, then we would kick it up a notch.
Right.
So I had the sound kind of figured out right away, but then, okay, we got some more cameras, and then I started looking into some different streaming software, and it just, it was kind of like when I first started engineering, it was like, it was fun. Yeah. It was a new obsession, a whole new thing, and it was exciting. It was thrilling. A lot of times live in real time.
Right.
And it'd be damn, like a professional TV show.
And then you hooked up with Can't Stop the Blues.
Yes. We did our first Can't Stop the Blues show with it was just me and Lisa, and just a few more people. When it was June, it was a lot of work. But we made a really good show, and it's entertaining all the way through, and it's not just one shot of somebody playing their song, going, okay, what are we going to do next? Okay, please send money. All that's in there.
Yeah, right, of course, but strategically placed.
Yeah, but it has explosions.
Extra special effects.
Yeah. As only Kid can do.
Right.
So we did that first show, and it was, when it aired, the feedback was so great, and the tips were like a lot more than we expected, a lot more than we had been led to believe it was going to be.
Right.
So I was like, well, there you go. There's the answer to everything.
There's a future here. Yeah.
So I started. That became a real big focus from then, and like a real, it gave me that drive to get good at it. I kind of liked that everybody was stuck at home and had no choice.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But fine if you want to go out and live your life.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
See if I can.
I get it.
Well, I want to say, from my own experience working here, the one that really knocked me out, I love doing the Peter Green one with you.
That was
really, really cool.
That was a great one, and that's one I still get like a lot of feedback on YouTube and my comments and stuff. People are always going, "Holy shit!" Yeah.
That was really an amazing.
No, we went to town on that one. That was your idea.
I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was your idea
to
do a tribute to Peter Green after
he died.
And we knew a number of people that felt the same way, and also happened to be really excellent musicians. Yeah.
The one I remember was the time in San Diego when we did the remembering little Walter thing on the
Oh,
spot.
I'll never forget that. It's the worst moment of
That
my
was
life.
incredible, yeah. But you know what? You came through it like a champ.
It still worked out.
It took a while.
It took a while to figure it out, but it was
It
like,
ended well because we got nominated for a Grammy for
Right.
that album. What happened is that
yeah.
Mark Hummel and Blind Pig Records, which was a thing at the time, hired me to come down to San Diego and record this little Walter tribute, remembering Little Walter. And it had Charlie Musselwhite on it, it had James Harmon on it, it had Billy Boy Arnold on it, it had June Core on it, it had Mark Hummel, it had Little Charlie on it. Nathan
Sugar
James.
Ray.
Yeah, Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray, yes,
Right.
Sugar Ray and Norcia.
Right.
And did I say Nathan names? RW.
Yeah.
RW.
There was a lot of people involved in this.
A lot of people.
I rented a snake. That's not an animal, but a 100-channel microphone splitter. I was on my hands and knees all day getting this all hooked up so I could do this recording. I was sweating. I can't remember ever being that covered in sweat. And I remember at one point I was on the floor just drenched all the way through. With cables, Muscle going, how are you doing down there?
You might want to relax a little bit.
So, and I had my whole thing set up, and then somebody tells me right before the show, I think it might have been one of the guys from Blind Pig, or it might have been one of the guys from the club, Anthology in San Diego.
Right.
And he says, oh yeah, he says, to make sure you don't stop and start during the recording. Let it run the whole way through because we're making a DVD and we want to be able to sync it up.
Yes.
Was what somebody go, and I go, because I kind of like to stop when it's a changeover or something. Stop and save, you know.
Yeah.
When I know I'm gonna have time and not miss anything, so I let it run for the
whole first set.
the whole first. Well, there was 2 shows.
Right.
Luckily.
Yeah. There was, and they were about 90 minutes, and we were about 90 minutes or 88 minutes into the first show, and it's all going over. It was great. Everybody felt great. Everybody was so happy. It's like
Sold out house.
Yeah, the
sold out
audience was
house.
good.
Lots of
Everybody's
people.
digging it.
Everybody's digging it. Everybody was like, man, we knocked that motherfucker out of the park.
All right.
And Mr. Mark Hummel is standing by the side of the stage,
Right.
Right by where I have my station with my computer and my hard drive and everything
Right.
set up. And there's a kid there who's working the monitor mixer, which is right to my left, and he's trying to tell Mark Hummel, 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes left.
Right.
Quit in 5 minutes. And he's unsuccessful in getting your attention. So what does he do? He literally lunges himself over my table so he can yank you on your shoe coat
Right.
and tell him 5 minutes. And you go, okay. And he slides back and he goes, hey, something hit my foot. and he bends over to pick up what hit his foot, and it's my hard drive
Yeah, right.
that I'm recording to, unplugged, and I'm looking at the computer screen, and there's this error message,
Right.
and you know how you go through the they have like the 7 stages of grief. I just remember going, and somehow I just did a shortcut and went straight to acceptance. So I was like,
And forgiveness. And
well,
Forgiveness.
not yet. Not yet. The
I
part
go,
didn't
well,
come
I
yet.
go, yeah. Well, I'm fucked. So there goes that.
There goes that set.
There goes that, because I knew that was you can't do that.
Right.
Everything, you lost everything. Everything, the whole damn thing was lost. And I mean, what am I gonna do? You know, I mean, I couldn't.
Beat the kid
The
down.
right thing to do. Yeah, the right
Yeah,
thing
what
to
can
do.
you do?
The right thing to do would be to kill him, of course.
Yes, of course.
But
in front of the guys
yeah,
at Blind Pig.
in front of the guy, make the point. And he goes, listen, we lost everything, But to make up for it, I'm going to sacrifice this little 19-year-old guy. So,
Right.
We'll make a blood sacrifice.
no, I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You're just, there's nothing you can do. So I had to go backstage and tell everyone.
But thank God we didn't tell the Blind Pig guys though.
Oh, well, we did.
No, I didn't tell the Blind Pig guys till after.
I'm not sure.
I swear to God, I did not tell them until after the gig because I said to myself, if I tell them now, they're gonna blow up. Yeah.
Maybe.
So I didn't tell them till after.
I can't remember that, but there was someone.
You told the band though. You told all the
No, I
artists.
came. I remember. I went backstage,
Right.
and I remember everybody was like high-fiving and champagne bottles, corks flying. There was flowers, and, people jumping out of cakes and shit.
What a great record this is gonna be.
And everybody just
We got
knew,
it all on there.
Right.
And pretty much the mood was like, let's not even do the second show because that was
Yeah.
no
Can
way
you top
anything's ever
that?
going to be that good ever again. So they, so then I had the task. I got to come in there and go. So listen. I can't remember whether or not the people from Blind Pig was there.
No, they weren't.
Because the only thing I remember is that Henry was there. Charlie Nelson, my very good friend.
Yes, obviously, because you're still
But
alive.
not somebody you want to piss off.
Yeah.
And I had that was who I was the most scared of. But Henry she was very cool about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this guy jumped over the heart. We lost everything. Yeah, I go, let me just go to the point. We didn't get any of that. So everybody was, pretty upset. But also, I was like, well, listen, we got one more show. Why don't everybody maybe do an extra song or something? Let's just, make it, get what we can. Let's just try and do it again. So because this is our only chance, we have, and I'll stop and save this time and screw their DVD because I saw how that went with, never stopping to save so I can sync up with their stupid DVD. What I remember very well from then was little Charlie, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
I love you. I love him. I love him like family. And this is exactly what he goes. He goes, man, we'll never play it that good again. Let's just take it easy for the second one. I don't even know. I just kind of feel like taking it easy the second set.
That might have been a good
He
thing.
goes, yeah, maybe. He goes, yeah, let's make it a short one. And I was like, dude, please. He was basically,
Ready to just forget the whole thing.
yeah.
almost,
He was being a little difficult.
Yeah, and he's one person that didn't know how to take it easy. I mean, he just.
I know. Maybe it did. Actually, well, what happened is that we recorded the next show, and everything went just fine. And I took it home and mixed it.
Well, you did an amazing. I remember you did an amazing job.
I remember there was
You were doing things like taking, for example, the sound check, which you did record,
Yes.
and mixing parts of the sound check into the performance.
James Harmon.
Right.
Because he never does cover songs. But he had to do a couple of little Walter songs, and he completely messed up the words during the second show.
Right.
However, I had the sound check where he practiced it, and I actually took.
And then the one I was really impressed with was you took like the harmonica jam, which was like 15 minutes or something.
It was a
of
14-minute
it was
version of My Babe.
completely mayhem.
Yeah, it was.
In this version.
Yeah.
And you took it and you actually condensed it into a 6 or 7 minute, really
I think it's 6.5 minutes.
You did a really great job of taking the best parts of that and mixing it into what sounds like a sounds like a song.
It's listenable now.
Yeah, it's very listenable.
It was My Babe, and that was a big finale.
Right. Yeah,
and you
but it had a lot of very meandering parts.
You
of it.
literally had 7 harmonica players on the stage.
That's right.
Because little Charlie was playing harp
Right,
too.
Charlie played harp.
And I
Yeah,
think maybe some drunk from the crowd.
could be. A tumbleweed, I think. But anyway, the long and short of it is, you salvaged the hell out of that show, and it really showed off your engineering skills to the 9th degree.
And we got nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah.
But that was
And
that was the.
That's heavy duty.
That's right. It was a 13.5-minute version of My Babe that we cut down
Exactly.
to about 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, there was 7 harmonica players on there, and if they weren't playing on top of each other, anytime they took a break, they were feeding back.
Isn't that
Okay.
usually
You
the
were
case?
there. You
Yes,
played
I'm
the
just
drum.
saying. Yeah,
You know,
it's usually the
at
case,
first
yeah.
they had like a cage around him, and at first he complained, but I think at the end he was happy about it.
Saved my
remember
ears.
that.
You know, my
I
ears weren't
remember
bleeding
that.
for a change.
Yep. Hi, I'm Mark Hummel. I hope you're enjoying the Harmonica Party and the other content that we post on our channel. Now you can become part of the show for the price of a cheap cup of coffee. For $3 a month, you can help bring the blues and the stories to you.